All right, guys. So Brandon here with On Demand Wellness, and I have the pleasure to be speaking with Garrett and Alyssa from Next Level Infusion. And I'm going to say Palm Beach County, but Garrett, give me an idea of all the areas y'all serve with your mobile IV business.
We're pretty much anywhere from Jupiter, Fort Lauderdale, really. But like our main areas, West Palm Beach, Royal Palm, and Wellington, as well as like our home area, Loxahatchee, Westlake.
Okay,
Um, those would be the main ones. But
awesome. Okay, so guys, the goal today is we're going to talk to Garrett and Alyssa about how they got started, why they got started, obstacles that they faced, and things that they've overcome, and what they've done to be successful. Because now they've been in business for over 3 years, and they're doing awesome out there in Florida. And so I know that their story is going to help a lot of you, and you're going to see similarities on where you're at, and hopefully they're going to help you move faster because they've already been through some of this. So let's just start out, guys. First, just give me a quick 101. Hey, I'm Alyssa. This is what I do. So I am. If you'll both do that, and let's just go into what got you both deciding. Who was it that was like, hey, let's do this? Who was like, no, we shouldn't? Like, let's go through all that real quick.
I'll start. My name is Alyssa. I'm the nurse, and it was my idea to start this. I've been a nurse 15 years. My entire career was in infusion. So I started as an oncology nurse doing chemotherapy. I transitioned out of that into a more of like an infusion center type thing, doing biologic infusions, but I love IVs. This was always my dream. When I was in nursing school, I went to a hydration station in Georgia, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I went home, I told my dad about it, and he was like, no, that's dumb. We're not doing it. So I was like, okay. So table it 15 years or, 12 years later. I was up in the middle of the night and couldn't sleep. And I saw an ad, kind of like the way yours are, like for on-demand wellness, but it was for another company that hasn't gone anywhere. And they said, do you want to start your own IV company? And I was like, yes, I do. Absolutely. So I, of course, signed up and then told him the next morning, hey, by the way, we have this meeting and we're going to start an IV company. And he said to me,
who's gonna pay for that shit?
yeah,
Okay. Hey,
yep,
fair question. Fair question.
yeah. So he was totally like, and I said, listen, I at least know 10 people. We can just get rid of 10 IVs. Like I have to know 10 people we could do it. In 5 IVs, we doubled our money. And that was like the end. It just took off from there.
Okay. So you talked about when you very first thought about it, and then you said 12 years later, right? Before you actually pulled the trigger, you saw the ad. So what did you, I know that it seems like you're a gunslinger and you're like, boom, here it is, I'm going. But I'm assuming there was probably some fear in there. Was it just, as Garrett just said, who's going to pay for this? Was it just money fear? Was it just, hey, this is something new? Like, what was the fear that you had to overcome to say, okay, we're doing this?
So being completely honest, we did not have the money to start a business. We put the business on a credit card. And like we're, fingers crossed that it was going to work because that was it, and we never ever used credit ever again. So that was the initial investment. And we have never gone into our own personal money ever again since then. Fear, of course, we have 3 kids. I was working full time. He was working full time. So it's scary to get into a new business and not really know. Um, I was 100% confident in my skill as a nurse. I knew that doing the IVs was not a problem. However, the vitamin world is different than what I knew. So I did have to do a lot of education on vitamins so that I didn't sound like a stupid person talking to people. But I knew I could start an IV any day. So that was not the problem. It was like the education on the other side and the business side of it. That's where he came in because as nurses, I would give everybody everything for free.
Yeah.
And he reminds me that we can't do that. So it's nice to have both, but I know that, in talking to other nurses that have done this, it's definitely a learned skill. We can, you can learn how to run the business side as well.
Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about boom, you go have your meeting. Obviously, you decide to do it. You launch. What are some of the things that you had to like learn the hard way, or maybe you didn't know you wish you would have known when you first started? let's talk about that first, then we'll go into what kind of got things rolling for you.
Oh, where do we even start? Oh, real quick, my name is Garrett. I am Alyssa's husband. I do the background stuff. I don't have to see any clients. I know their names. I don't know their faces, so it's a little awkward when we run into them at events and stuff. But I make it a good joke, and we just go about it. My background's in medical underwriting, so I knew nothing of this at all. And 3.5 years later, this is my career, basically. It took me, let's say, 38 years or so to find something that I actually truly love to do, because I never did. I hated the insurance business.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just happened, right? It just, from one to the next to the next to the next. So,
Mistakes we've made.
mistakes we've made. We made a ton
A
of
lot.
mistakes.
A lot.
I would say in the beginning, the first one was someone reached out to us. She owned a plastic surgery recovery center, and she wanted to offer our services to her recovering plastic surgery clients. We were thrilled, right? Beyond belief. Especially because it started really early on, right? Like I think it was within the first like 3 months or so. And we worked out a deal, me and her worked out a deal that we were going to offer. And also, it was about an hour from our house, more like 30 minutes from her work, where she was working at the time. Um, thank God that fell through, because we would have lost our shirt on it, right? We were just giving too much profits away,
Okay.
Because we wanted to make it work.
Because, well, we wanted that. We wanted to be like, oh, we partnered with someone already. And, we've seen this over and over and over again with other nurses. Too quick, too soon, a
Yeah.
lot of ideas. And if I would have known better back then, I would have just slowed down.
Yes. Well, and that's good. That's great advice, because there's always going to be so many opportunities that are out there. If you're looking, right, you have to look for them. But at the end of the day, if you don't know, if you don't look at the numbers, you don't know if it's a good deal or a bad deal. Like you definitely
Yeah.
don't want to be doing IVs for free or making very little to no profit or in the negative, and you think this is a great deal. So that's a great point. So what are a couple of things that when you first started out that you said, like, you were like, this is gonna work just like that, this is gonna be great, and then it ended up not following through, or maybe you had expectations that weren't met? Give me a couple things that you thought were gonna just, like, here's a good example. When I first opened my gym, I was like, man, as soon as I open it, I'm gonna have people banging down my door, which we know is not true, because nobody knew what I was doing except for my close knit, the 5 friends that came to my grand opening. You know what I mean? So what are a couple of those things that were, we'll call them myths, that you thought were true that were not?
Okay, so for sure that whole 10 nurse thing, the 10 people thing, um, it it took time. I mean, we definitely got people and we were able to flip it, but I just automatically assumed, like, again, clients would be knocking at the door, calling, like itching for IVs. And the thing that we noticed is that it's a lot of people are not aware of what we do. So it takes a lot of education. So what we learned is that you have to get out into your community and really educate people on what you do. So we've done a lot of events that have helped get our name out there, and not just about us, but like what we do and why we do it. So then people are like, oh, wait a minute. I mean, we still have people who will come and be like, can you get an IV when you're sick? I'm like, yeah, that's what we do, And they're like, oh, okay, I didn't know. A lot of people have the misconception of we're just there for a hangover, which, I mean, honestly, it's not even really what we do. Barely any hangover IVs. We do a lot of wellness, and we can do hangover IVs, but it's a lot more wellness and immunity type things. What else have we?
So, hey, real quick, I want to expand on that just a little bit, because events are great, right? Events. So I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go to events and make all this money.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was next.
Yep.
Hey,
Go
some
on.
events are great. Us personally, like golf events, if they're 2-day events, like boom, you knock it out of the park.
Yes.
3-day events, even more. So let's talk about that for a minute. Give me a couple events that y'all did, and just say, hey, like these events we did and maybe they were profitable, or hey, these events we did because we wanted to grow our name, and just talk about a couple of those educational things, because we know that's so important. Because even though IV therapy's been around for a little while, like our first location's been open for over 8 years now, and we still meet people that are like, oh, I didn't know you could do this outside the hospital.
Yep. Yeah.
So talk about a couple events you did, and what you've learned and what was successful and why.
So I'll say that is really important to stress about events not really making a lot of money. Sometimes they do, like you said, the golf events. We've done like
Our community.
events because everybody knows us, and we live in a small master planned community. And so we were the first ones to bring this to our community, and everyone in our community is like first responders, teachers, nurses. So we've got like that niche in our community. So when we do community events, we do tend to make money, but like we've gone outside of our community and done markets. Those are typically not money makers for us, but we talk to a ton of people. And the one thing that we really drive home, especially when we're talking to other people in this industry, trying to, help them, is that we tell them, you sell one person, at a later date, you've made your money back. So it's not that it's just about making money. It's just about getting you out there. And also, I think people want to see you more.
Yeah, we've noticed that.
We've noticed that, like, we did a barbershop event. Every guy was afraid of needles, so it was kind of a bust, but it's okay, because I feel like if we go back a few times, they're going to see us. They're going to be like, hey, I remember these people. It's not some random fly-by-night someone sticking me with a needle. So they will know that we're legitimate.
That's a big thing. I mean, we did a market which it just killed us.
Yeah, it was 22 weeks. It was a lot.
Yeah, 22 weeks every Friday at the same place.
Wow.
Yeah. We did it, and we did almost every week unless we were out of town, and towards the end we were just shot. But we didn't make much money there. So every Friday we're going there, and I think one Friday we made some good money. Other than that, it wasn't. But I can't even begin to tell you how many people called us after, how many people said, hey, I saw you at, the Lakeside Market, and
we got our first employee from there too.
We did.
Who's still our employee today.
Yep. She came up to us during the event, and she was fresh out of nursing school, and she was into this stuff, and she wanted a job, and she's been with us the longest, and she's been a beast.
Awesome.
She really is. So yeah, put it this way, right? These events aren't expensive, right? They're $25, $50, $75. You get it into being expensive when you start sponsoring the event. But in the interim of that, it's not a lot of money to get out there into your communities to tell them who you are, what you do, and who your company, what your company is. It's worth the time to invest into something that you may not see money right here, but in the long run, you'll make money. You have to get exposure. There's no way about it. If you don't get exposure, you're not going to get clients.
Exactly. 100%. And that's why, like, one of my favorite phrases is market or die, right? It's with business, it's market or die. So, all right. So we were consistent with the events. So that's how you really got your name out there. Give me a couple more things, marketing wise. What are some things that y'all have done that you've like just really seen? And we're kind of, it can be things that maybe you didn't start with that you've transitioned into, because obviously all new businesses, we go through this, hey, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. And you try all these different things to get new clients. But what are some things that you can go both sides? Hey, we tried a couple things, these weren't so successful, but then we started doing this. Like obviously events are one of those that have been successful. Have we done anything on social media? And there's lots of things there, right?
So big time on social media. In our area, like there's a ton of moms groups. So like different cities have like the moms groups of that city.
Facebook, right?
Yeah, Facebook. And they're hugely popular. And we get a lot of our word of mouth from there. So like a ton. I mean, we did not pay for any marketing up until this year. And that was just because now at this point, like we've probably exhausted every single area and like people know us. So now we need to grow.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is why we're now paying for marketing. But prior to, it was all word of mouth, social media, Facebook,
we
Instagram.
we tried those the Facebook ads to come up as sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Maybe we didn't give it long enough, but it just wasn't it just didn't work for us, right? But like she said about those Facebook groups, trust me when I tell you that we got to word of mouth maybe a little quicker than we should have. And it was off of these groups. She was on her phone, like constantly. Like some points, I got to be like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Because this is crazy. And then she's
I was
like,
like, I'm making us money.
yeah. She's like, "I'm messaging with this, this, and this." And today, that is one of our biggest sources of income.
Walk me through that, Garrett. Walk me through that. Let's give everybody an example of what you do inside the groups.
Okay, so, well, first off, we should probably tell them that we do a networking group we're in.
Oh, yeah, that's a big piece too.
That's a big piece to this whole puzzle.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We're in a networking group, which turned out to be fantastic for us. Last year, bumped sales like crazy. Now, the thing with this group is, they require loyalty. And with that loyalty comes a lot of stuff in groups. So like they'll see someone needs an IV, they'll post, all the individual people will post your name, right? But then we also started getting regular clients. Not to mention 80% of the people that are posting from our group
Our actual clients
are
of
actually
ours.
clients now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just started like that. Like, so I'm not in the moms group, so I don't see them. She has to show me like some of the, next level, like that. And that kicks word of mouth into a whole nother gear.
Yeah. So just to say, so everybody that's watching this, I just want you to understand, because I've seen this work so well in this niche, but really any kind of a wellness niche. But somebody comments, "Hey, I'm looking for IV therapy," or "Hey, I want help with maybe it's GLP-1s," whatever the case may be. And the next thing you know, you have everybody coming in here to support the business that they go to. So you see, oh, hey, I go to Alyssa. We love Next Level, and you have all these people commenting on it. And it obviously doesn't happen overnight. They built a good reputation because you've taken care of people, you've helped them, and now they want to support you in your business in doing that. So that's huge. Now, there's some of that can be scripted, right? Obviously, if you have team members, they can, hey, make sure you comment, go in there and things like that. But
The way of the world now.
Yeah.
Really, we see it all over the place.
Yeah.
I know people that have businesses based off of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that thing that existed, right? By like the comments, like the guys I know that have businesses off of that, that's kind of like more like you pay them and they have people that come in and comment and stuff. That's different than what this was because it happens so organically. But it's huge and it's the best form of marketing you're ever going to get, and it's free.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to play off that for a second. Give me a couple of things that you've done. Let's talk about outside of Facebook groups, outside of the events, just within your database with your clients. So your current clients that maybe they've come to you once, maybe they've come to you multiple times. What are a couple of things that y'all have done to maybe get them to promote y'all or encourage them to maybe bring a friend? Like, what are a couple of strategies? And this can go both ways. Hey, we tried this, didn't work so well for us, but this worked really well. Anything like that?
Well, Black Friday was a bust. We did like buy one, get one free IVs, and that was a terrible idea. Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Because we lost money. Like that was stupid.
Right.
But we do like group discounts. So when we do like group parties, we offer group discounts. So that's like bring a friend,
We do 10% off if it's more than one IV.
Oh, like a group with more than one?
Group more than one,
Yeah.
because our nurse or Alyssa, they're there doing one IV. They can do two IVs in the same time that they do one IV, right? So you give a little bit of a discount, people like that. Sometimes maybe like the husband's getting an IV, the wife doesn't really need one or want one, but you know she's going away, and it would probably be a good idea to get some kind of immunity boost, you know, IV or something. But now since they get 10% off,
They'll do it.
they're gonna do it. That
Yeah.
second person's gonna do it, right? I can't even tell you how many times they've gone in to people's homes, and then they come out and was like, yeah, I'm like, this is, you know, it's a little much, like 6 IVs, 7 IVs,
Yeah.
like, where did this even come from? And they're like, well, one person won, and then the next, and the next. I should just let y'all know that we have 4 nurses that work for us directly. So when I say nurses, I include her, but I include our nurses. I say that a lot more than Alyssa. So we have technically 5. But what we've been fortunate so far to do, we're still working on it, but we're pulling Alyssa out more,
Yep.
to focus more on the business with me, because we do really well together. We have different strengths, but it all comes together. I think we learned it during events, kind of like our flow. She doesn't come out from around the table. I'm outside the table, right? Talking to people, because my job at these events is to get enough interest that they'll go to the table and talk to Alyssa about clinical.
Okay, so Gary, you just brought up a great point. Let's just briefly talk about how important it is, not just at events, but in general, to be a big mouth, like loud, talking about your business. Because as we know, when you start this, nobody knows, nobody understands, like, hey, I started my business. Why am I not getting business? Well, it's because nobody knows. Like, if what I like to tell brand new nurses into this, I'm like, hey, if I just snap my fingers today and you're ready, everything's good, your medical director is set, your protocols, you got your beautiful, even if you're going to go location, it's all beautiful and set up, like you're going to have zero business. Maybe your mom comes or you got a close friend, but other than that, you have no business, right? So you have to be vocal. So just touch on that a little bit, how important that is to whether you're at an event, you're talking to your clients, like how important it is to sell yourself really is what you're doing at the end of the day.
So, as you see, everything we have is labeled like with our logos on it. Okay. So we do wear those pretty much all the time, whether we're working or not.
Yeah. Well, we just did that for the birthday party we went to.
And I pass out my
I'll tell you the
cards
story.
literally everywhere. If I'm at the gas station, I leave a card on the gas pump. When we're at restaurants, I'll leave my card in the check. So
Yeah.
we leave cards everywhere, plant seeds everywhere. And the logo thing works really well. He'll tell you a story of what happened this weekend. So
We were this past weekend, we were at our kids' baseball teammates' birthday parties,
All right.
and I wore Next Level. Like most of my clothes is Next Level, so I don't even have much anyway. But lo and behold, there was a lady sitting there, and she's like, you know, do you own that business? And we're like, yeah. She's like, oh, well, here, I've seen her on the Facebook groups a lot with a great reputation, with good comments and all that stuff. And I said something, 1 or 2 things, got a clinical, passed it off to her, and went to go chase my kids.
There you go.
Just like that.
and now she's a client.
Yeah, now she's a client.
And she's booking her bachelorette party with us.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look at that, just from wearing the logo. I mean, that's
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've talked about so far, like events, how important it is to get your name out there. Brand recognition is just, hey, wearing your logos. And Alyssa, I love what you said. It's like, hey, I'm always carrying my cards and I'm putting them in places. I think one of the things that we can take from this is you can't just rely on one thing. Like, there has to be multiple ways you're trying to get business, because some of them may be a flop and some of them may rock it. And even if you go for one like the Facebook groups and you start rocking it, you still got to continue to test things. I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize about marketing. Really, marketing and testing can go hand in hand. That's all you're doing. You're testing offers, you're testing you know, how you're promoting yourself, how you're talking about your business, and you're going to find out what works and what doesn't work. And so, and that seems like that's what y'all are doing, right?
yeah. I also forgot my car has the logos all over it.
You're
magnets on it.
okay.
The
Yeah,
back
it's
is
in
the-
the back window.
Yeah, we're in a golf cart community, so our golf cart is wrapped, and I post a lot on our social media about your favorite golf carting IV nurse. So I'll take pictures on the golf cart going to clients. which has been kind of a hit too. Like people will literally like honk and wave at me and stuff when I'm driving on the
Love that.
so yeah.
Someone, I do remember one person, she told us a story. She was at Publix, I guess, so were we. She took a picture of the golf cart.
That's a grocery store in Florida, by the way, in case you guys
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah, sorry. She told us when she called, she's like, I figured I'd need you guys at some point, so I just wanted to have, a picture with your info on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were just, in the grocery store, getting some food
Yep.
and stuff like that. You never know where you can pick up a client unless you're out there talking about it and showing it, because nobody knows if nobody knows.
Yes, that is so true. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I want you both to pretend like you're talking to yourselves, right? You finally made that decision to jump. Okay, we're gonna do this. You just got done telling Garrett, hey, this is what I did. We'll meet on this call. You had the call. You decided to move forward. Just give a couple pieces of advice you'd give your younger, three years younger self, just starting your mobile IV therapy business. What are a couple pieces of advice that you give yourself when starting out?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about that for a second. So you're just starting, you're excited because people get into this, right? They get really excited. Maybe y'all are a great example. Like you both have jobs, both full-time jobs. A lot of nurses, especially through our program in on-demand wellness, they get started on this because they want to get out of the traditional nursing.
And you can. We're a prime example of that. Yeah.
Exactly. So with that in mind, there's obviously when you start something, it's going to take some time to build. So there's always going to be some discouragement. Maybe you're not doing it as fast as you want. Everybody moves at their pace. But also, I think one of the really important things is you're going to get out of it what you put in it. So one of my favorite questions to ask a lot of my clients, I always say, hey, what's your favorite show on Netflix? If they answer me, then I always call them out like, hey, how often are you watching that instead of working on your business? Because if you want this to be successful, you have to put your time into it. So with that in mind.
That's funny. That's about like my book. I've been waiting. I'm a big reader. I've been waiting like a month for this book to come out from my favorite author. And it came out on the 29th and I've read 4 pages of it because we've been so busy. And he's like, why are you not reading? I'm like, the phone doesn't stop. I can't. I'm working.
When she's looking down, it's because the work line is going off while we're doing this. So we apologize for that.
Good.
And I would say slow down, take one step at a time. Okay. If you are not comfortable with compounding bags, okay, and the vitamin world, pick 1 or 2 or even 3 IVs that you want to offer. Okay. Do those IVs and master those IVs because 99% of the IVs have pretty much all the different things in it, right? All the same stuff in it is what I meant. So once you get comfortable with them, then you can introduce new IVs. And in that turn, you can use that as a marketing tool. Hey, we just
launched a new
our energy and performance and, see this message and get $10 off. Whatever it is, right? Stuff like that.
So his is more like his advice would be probably more from the business side. I'll talk clinically because like having 2 jobs and it's a lot. And again, the 3 kids and the house and the this and that. There was days I was tired, burnt out. I'm like, I can't do anymore. I would leave the house at 6 o'clock in the morning, work my regular job, come home and go back out, till 10 o'clock at night sometimes.
All the time.
So it was what we wanted. We want that. We want to be busy, but there was also a lot of like times where the phone would ring and I would just like start to cry. I'm like, I can't do anymore. I'm done. Like I'm done. So for new people starting out, like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And again, just like you said, is how much you want to put into it. And some people just want to make it like a fun side gig. Some people really want to turn it into a career and it can be done. It's not going to happen overnight. And there is going to be a lot of grit and blood, sweat, and tears you're going to put into it. But if you want it, it's 1000% doable. 1000%. It can be done. We're living proof of it. It took 18 months for me to quit my full-time job and supplement our income and then some. So,
we were terrified.
Yeah.
right? We'd be terrified to get her out of the job. I think I had like 3 different meetings with our bookkeepers, right? To make sure I probably asked them the same question every single time financially. And then, I was able to as well. And I was surprised, I don't doubt, our dedication, our hard work. Um, but I don't know. Once you become your own boss, it's like, it's different. And then with a family, like everything rides on it. So we can't mess around. We don't ever stop working.
Ever.
Ever. It's,
Now, to that caveat, because you
Mhm.
said something about this earlier, because there's a transition everybody goes through in business typically, right? You get started. If you're going to be successful, you're going to hustle, right? The goal is to focus on, right? We learn what to focus on, the things that we need to do, right, to be successful and grow. But now y'all are coming into that season now, as you said earlier, Garrett, is like you're starting to pull, let's get Alyssa out of this so that we can start getting her to work more on the business, right? And not so much in the field anymore. And so I think all businesses go through this transition, especially if you're, me and Garrett are similar, non-medical. So we're not the ones that can do the IVs or injections. So you're a big part of the business, especially starting out in this business. Anybody medical, if you're going to be, one of the owners of this type of business, you're going to be a big part of it as you grow it, especially individual solopreneurs, a solo nurse getting into this. So I think that it's, really important to understand that it took 18 months. Y'all learned a lot, but I bet you if I asked you if you'd change it, you'd say no, because that's what got Alyssa out of the normal nurse job, right?
Yeah. And we made a ton of mistakes. We still make mistakes.
Happens.
We just try to learn from them and try to make them as minimal as possible, right? In the beginning, they were a little bit bigger than they are now, but we just did what was it? The event at a rodeo.
Oh,
We
God.
thought it was going to be really great, and it was a total bust. We didn't even go back the second day.
Yeah.
Back the third day to get our stuff because it just wasn't
It was bad.
it wasn't our crowd, right?
Right.
Our clientele happened kind of organically.
And again, finding your niche in what your clientele is. Some people have totally different clientele. Like I was saying about the hangovers, right? There's other companies that's what they market to. We're really not that way. We're more like family friendly moms with kids. They're tired, that kind of stuff.
And don't be surprised how many people would rather support a small business than they would for anything else.
100%.
Our community and our area, I've never seen more small businesses in my life than where we are now. And that community is it's something else because they just want to see that small business succeed and are willing to help that rather than, a big, I don't know, company,
Brick and
right?
mortar.
Anything.
I mean, anything doesn't have to be, any kind of big
company, right?
Yep.
But more like, I don't know, like McDonald's or something like that, like a
Right. Yeah. A chain.
type of
Yeah.
a chain. There you go. That was what I was looking for.
That's great advice, right? That's great. Most of us all want to support all of us little smaller local businesses. I think that's really important to note. And I think that just goes into what we've been talking about, how important it is to get out there and to know if this is what you're going to do, that you may start out working late nights and you may be doing these events where you don't make money, but your goal is to meet and talk to people. I think that's the biggest thing. And you'll get better as you do it more.
The things that break your heart sometimes are the things that really excel your business because you don't realize like, okay, I did this for a reason. And yeah, it was crushing because I thought it was going to be this big deal and it wasn't. But then in the background, you're seeing why it happened. So
It's all about getting pictures of themselves out on social
oh
media.
yeah. So
she's working with someone now and I just overheard her saying it to them. So it's a good piece of advice.
So I was obviously like the face of the company. Everybody knows me. Like when we're out locally, people are like, "Oh, Alyssa, hi, my personal nurse." And but the thing is that especially with mobile, it's so important that the person you're going to someone's home. And one of the biggest things that I have to say, and that I was just telling another nurse, is that, the person wants to know who you are. So all of our nurses have bios on our website, on our Instagram, so that you know who you're getting. You know what they look like. So there's no surprise of who's coming. And I think that's really, really important because, again, mobile, you're going into someone's home, they have to trust you, and you're sticking a needle in someone. Like, they have to know who you are and what and so that's a really, really big piece of it. And the person I helped, I told her that she changed her social media and she booked 2 clients that next day. I mean, it could have been just total coincidence, but I don't think so.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're going to wrap this up. 3 years in business so far. You both had jobs, right? You both learned a lot along the way. And now, Garrett, you said you left your job. How long did you leave your job?
January of 2 years ago.
Yeah, January 2 years ago.
Yeah, so pretty early into it.
Yeah.
So you both are doing this full time. And I'm going to give you both a pat on the back because I know you just both got a big award, right?
Yes, thank you.
So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Last word here. Somebody that's new to it, somebody that's into it, just a word of encouragement. If they're on this path and their goal is where you're at, their goal is to be their own boss and to do this and to get out of the normal rat race. What's one quick word of advice for them or encouragement from each of you?
Don't give up. It's possible. Don't give up.
Love it.
Man, one word of advice. That's a good question.
You can't take mine.
I won't take hers, I promise. No, but continue with what you set out to do originally. Okay.
Yes.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't go too fast. Just continue your path, because if you want it bad enough, it's going to happen. You will succeed. How long it takes, I have no idea, right?
Everybody's different.
Yeah,
Just
everyone's
don't give up.
different. Just don't give up. If you are running into issues, tweak something. I have seen nurses fail for not reaching out to other people in the community and asking for help, right? Well, what did you do? I'm doing this. It's not working. Pivot. You can always go from one to the next to the next. It's your business. Just put that effort into doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Getting out of bedside.
There you go.
I
Yep.
get that all the time.
And I love that. And the only thing I'll add to that is like anybody watching this, know that something might work for you that doesn't work for another nurse, right? So y'all talked about the rodeo. We have a rodeo that we do that's local every year that they call us every year to come set up because it's great. Like, we have a good setup. Now, it's a big part of the reason we got that is because I know somebody that I was friends with that he actually did some stuff on my financial side for me. And that was my connection. I told him what we were doing. He knew it's just talking about what we were doing. He was like, man, that would be great. So now we've done it for like 4 or 5 years in a row, and it's a successful event. You know what I mean? So it's going to be different. Some things going to be successful and some aren't. It's all part of the process of learning.
And you just brought up a great point about your connection, right? Tap into your contacts, your people, your families, friends, those contacts, whatever it is. The more eyeballs, the more chance you have of booking an IV or an injection or whatever you're doing. And also try to add more services.
Yes.
Try to add as many services as you can within scope.
Once you're
you get going, because
Get established.
Right.
Yes.
Because you don't want to
just be stagnant.
Exactly. And rely on 1 or 2 things to build your business.
Yeah. And a great piece of advice I'll give there is, if I told you, hey, every 100 people you reach out to, you're going to get 5 clients. Like, how fast would you be reaching out to people, right?
I'm calling them right now.
Exactly. we'd be on the phone, like, just hit 100, I got 5 clients. Well, let's go for another 100 because I want 5 more, especially if they're reoccurring clients. And so
I'd spend every day, all day doing it.
yeah. And so that's why it's so important like to get out there, tell people what you're doing. So guys, this has been great. I can't wait. We'll do this again like in 6 months. We'll see where we're at.
Okay.
I expect Alyssa to be like, I'm not doing IVs anymore. I'm out. Well, except for maybe your favorite clients. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. I'll take
Right.
that.
So, but guys, Garrett, Alyssa, Next Lvl Infusion. If you're in the Palm Beach area, right, that whole area down there, Palm Beach County, make sure you hit them up. A quick little thing on on-demand wellness. Garrett's also on our team with on-demand wellness. So if you're looking to start your wellness business, or you already have, you need some support, medical director, protocols, standing operating procedures, anything on the compliance side, we got your back. Just reach out. You can find us at ondemandwellness.com. So guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, friend. We'll talk soon.
Awesome.
All right. Bye.